you're looking for a handheld gaming console and have no idea where to start, you're in exactly the right video, because today we're going to check out the 8 best handheld consoles you can get right now so you can enjoy your favorite games at the highest quality wherever you go. So stick around until the end if you want to see the absolute craziest handhelds on the market. Coming in at number 8, we've got the PlayStation Portal, the perfect option for anyone who already owns a PS5 or is thinking about picking one up to play the highly anticipated GTA 6, since this is a remote gaming device built specifically for the PlayStation ecosystem. Its design basically wraps a full DualSense controller around an 8-inch LCD display running at 1080p and 60 frames per second. Visually, it looks super clean, and the controls feel almost identical to playing directly on PS5, including adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. That said, its biggest strength is also its biggest weakness. On the plus side, you can play pretty much your entire PS5 library directly on the PlayStation Portal, which is honestly a really powerful feature. But here's one of the main drawbacks. To actually play, you'll need your PS5 powered on at home and connected properly, or you'll need a PlayStation Plus premium subscription to access cloud streaming. Still, if what you're after is a true standalone handheld that doesn't depend on another device, stay tuned because we're moving on to a console with some seriously incredible exclusives. At number 7, we have the famous Nintendo Switch 2. An awesome choice if you're a true Nintendo fan or if you want a hybrid console that works just as well at home as it does on the go. Nintendo basically took the hybrid formula that already worked so well on the original Switch and upgraded it in almost every possible way. The display jumps up to 7.9 inches with 1080p resolution, HDR10 support, and up to 120 frames per second, making it bigger, smoother, and more immersive than the previous generation. And that's in handheld mode, because once you dock it to your TV, you can push up to 4K at 60 FPS, which even today is still seriously impressive for a home console. The custom NVIDIA processor finally brings ray tracing and DLSS upscaling to Nintendo games for the very first time. On top of that, the 12 gigs of RAM noticeably improve loading times. The controllers also got meaningful upgrades over the original Switch, because now the Joy-Con 2 controllers attach magnetically, they're bigger, more comfortable, and in some games they can even work like a mouse. You also get built-in game chat for talking with friends, Wi-Fi 6, and compatibility with most original Switch games. Now, to be fair, it does have a few downsides. First, the screen isn't OLED like the final version of the original Switch. And second, battery life varies a lot depending on what you're playing. I'll leave links down in the description so you can check current prices and hopefully find the best deal possible. But if the Switch 2 isn't really your thing, or Nintendo's game library just doesn't do it for you, keep watching, because from here on out, things only get more serious. Coming in at number 6, we've got the ASUS ROG Xbox Ally, a really solid choice for anyone looking to get into handheld gaming without spending a fortune, while staying inside the Windows world and the Xbox ecosystem. Its 7-inch Full HD display with up to 120 frames per second, 500 nits of brightness, and FreeSync Premium delivers a sharp and smooth image that honestly looks great in a handheld format. Under the hood, it packs an AMD Ryzen Z 2A processor paired with 16 gigs of RAM and a 512 gig SSD, and when it comes to controls, it's got plenty going for it too, with Hall effect triggers, a 6-axis gyro, 2 customizable rear buttons, and haptic feedback that all come together to create a seriously capable control setup. The interface is fully optimized for controller use, with a dedicated Xbox button and direct access to Game Bar, which immediately sets the tone for the whole experience. On top of that, Xbox Game Pass integration, cloud gaming, and remote play feel more seamless here than on most other Windows handhelds. And even though Xbox is clearly the star of the show because it's running Windows 11, you've still got complete freedom to jump into Steam, Epic Games Store, or basically any PC storefront you want. If there's one major downside, it's probably the 60 watt-hour battery, which can feel a little limited during longer sessions in more demanding games. But if that's still not enough and you're looking for even more power plus a bigger display, you're gonna love the next one. At number 5, we have the Valve SteamDeck OLED, the latest version of our friend Gabe Newell's handheld console, and an amazing option for anyone who wants to keep keep their entire Steam library with them wherever they go. The first thing that stands out is the 7.4-inch HDR OLED display, which is a major upgrade over the previous LCD version. It also comes with a resolution of 1280 by 800 and up to 90 frames per second, with HDR brightness peaking at 1000 nits. The result is a surprisingly immersive visual experience for a display this size. Inside, it runs on AMD's 6nm architecture paired with 16 gigs of RAM. It's not the newest processor on the market anymore, but in a handheld running at this resolution, performance is still impressively smooth across the vast majority of games. Battery life also holds up really well. That 50 watt-hour battery combined with the efficiency of SteamOS gives you anywhere from around 3 to 6 hours in demanding titles, which actually beats a lot of Windows handhelds with similar hardware. But what really makes the Steam Deck special is SteamOS itself. From the moment you power it on to the moment you're already in a game, the experience is one of the fastest and most polished on the market. You suspend the console, come back hours later, and your game is sitting exactly where you left it. No forced updates, no desktop-style menus, and no interfaces designed around a mouse. You just press play and keep going. On top of that, you also get 4 rear buttons, gyro controls, micro SD expansion, which not every handheld offers, and USB-C video output. Coming in at number 4, we have the Lenovo Legion Go S, an excellent option for anyone who wants a handheld running SteamOS, but with a bigger display than the Steam Deck and the flexibility to choose a version with more or less performance and RAM depending on how much you want to spend. Right away, the Go stands out thanks to its 8-inch display with a 1920 by 1200 resolution, up to 120 frames per second, and 500 nits of brightness. That extra screen size compared to other handhelds is one of its biggest strengths, and you really notice it in PC games, text-heavy indie titles, or games that take advantage of the extra space to show more information on screen. With this model, Lenovo removed the detachable controllers from the original Legion Go and instead went with a more traditional and ergonomic design featuring Hall effect joysticks that practically eliminate stick drift over time. On top of that, you also get an integrated touchpad that's genuinely useful for navigation, adjustable trigger travel, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, dual USB 4 ports, and a 55.5 watt-hour battery with fast charging. But where this console really shines is the operating system. SteamOS Lenovo became the first manufacturer to release a handheld not made by Valve that runs the official Steam operating system, and that's a huge deal. The experience feels very close to what you get on the Steam Deck. You can pause in the middle of a game and jump right back in instantly, sync cloud saves, and navigate an interface that's built for gaming instead of managing an operating system. Now, here's an important point. There are currently multiple versions of the Go S available with differences in processor, RAM, and storage, so you can pick the one that fits both your needs and your budget. The entry-level version comes with the Ryzen Z2 Go processor based on Zen 2 architecture with 4 cores, plus 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage, which is enough to handle most games comfortably, but clearly starts falling behind once you move into more demanding titles. The higher-end version steps up to the Ryzen Z1 Extreme with Zen 4 architecture and 8 cores, giving you double the core count and a full generation jump in architecture, along with either 16 or 32 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. And when you're running demanding games, that performance gap becomes very noticeable. But if you're more into the Xbox ecosystem or you need even more power for heavier titles, you're gonna love the next pick. Opening up the podium in third place and taking the bronze medal, we've got the Xbox Ally X, built for Xbox fans who want a top-tier handheld and felt like the standard ASUS ROG version we looked at earlier just wasn't enough. It uses the same display as its smaller sibling, with a 7-inch panel running it up to 120 frames per second, 500 nits of brightness, FreeSync premium support, and IPS technology. One of its few downsides is that it isn't OLED, but in this case, Lenovo, well, Microsoft and ASUS make up for it with the the hardware inside. This model packs the AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme processor built on Zen 5 architecture with RDNA 3.5 graphics, paired with 24 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. That amount of memory lets you keep multiple games and apps running smoothly at the same time, and you can really feel the difference, especially in AAA titles, compared with the previous version. The design is clearly inspired by the Xbox wireless controller, with contoured grips, impulse triggers with haptic response, and a dedicated Xbox button that boots directly into a full-screen interface built around the Microsoft ecosystem. From there, you get unified access to your Xbox library, Game Pass, Steam, and other PC storefronts. Everything is controller-friendly. As for battery life, it jumps up to 80 watt-hours, giving you around 40% more endurance than the standard Ally, which translates to roughly 3 to 6 hours, depending on the type of game. Coming in at number 2 and taking the silver medal, we've got the MSI Claw 8 Plus, an ideal choice for anyone who wants the most complete and well-balanced handheld right now, offering strong performance, a great display, solid battery life, and full access to the entire PC gaming ecosystem. It comes with an 8-inch IPS display with a 1920 by 1200 resolution up to 120 frames per second and a built-in touchscreen. It's not OLED, but even so, this is one of the largest panels in the entire ranking combined with a high resolution, which makes for a much more comfortable gaming experience, especially in games with small text or complex UI elements. Inside, it features an Intel Core Ultra 7 processor with integrated Intel Arc graphics, paired with 32 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. The integration of Intel Arc graphics in this generation of chips really improves energy efficiency compared to previous solutions, helping the 80 watt-hour battery deliver noticeably better endurance than you'd expect. That combination of a large battery and a more efficient processor makes this one of the strongest points of the device overall. Connectivity also takes a step forward thanks to Wi-Fi 7, offering the most stable and fastest streaming, downloads, and remote play experience in this entire lineup. And with Bluetooth 5.4, USB-C, and full Windows 11 support, you've basically got a perfect gateway to move between Steam, Xbox Game Pass, Epic Game Store, and any other platform without restrictions. That said, it's important to remember this is still a Windows handheld, and that comes with its pros and cons. If you're looking for the most polished console-like experience with zero friction, you'll probably feel more comfortable with the SteamDeck or the Legion Go S we saw earlier. But if you want an OLED display no matter what while still keeping this level of high-end specs, then let me show you what could easily become your next handheld. And finally, taking the number 1 spot on the list and the gold medal, we have the Lenovo Legion Go 2, Lenovo's most advanced handheld gaming console yet. This is basically the ultimate pick for gamers who want the absolute best that handheld gaming currently has to offer. The original Legion Go already had a solid display, but this 8.8-inch panel with OLED technology and a 144 Hz refresh rate on the Legion Go 2 takes things to another level entirely, making it the best screen you can get on any handheld right now. For AAA games, story-driven experiences, or visually intense titles, the display performance here is simply hard to beat. Under the hood, it packs the AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme with an 8-core CPU and 32 gigs of RAM, putting it firmly among the most powerful handhelds on the market for demanding games and multitasking with almost no compromises. It also keeps the detachable controllers from the original model, which adds extra flexibility depending on how you want to play. And while a Steam OS version is expected to arrive soon, the current model runs Windows 11. Now, Windows isn't always the smoothest experience in a handheld form factor, but with 32 gigs of RAM, general navigation feels a lot more responsive than on lower spec devices. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. Let me know which handheld is your favorite, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. That's it for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.